Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a really complex and, well, ultimately tragic story, the death of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, definitely.
We got this detailed case study here, and it really digs into the verified facts, separates them from the enduring rumors,
Yeah.
and offers some, critical analysis.
Right.
For you, the learner, our aim today is to cut through all that noise,
Yeah.
give you a clearer understanding of the key events, the complexities,
Yeah.
really get to those aha moments beyond just the headlines.
Exactly. And this case study, it covers so much ground. Jackson's background, the lead up to his death, the actual day.
Investigation, yeah.
Investigation even delves into those conspiracy theories that still swirl around. Plus, his posthumous earnings, legacy, cultural impact, and it wraps up with a pretty sharp analysis of what likely happened.
So where do we even begin with someone like Michael Jackson? His life was just monumental.
Well, I think to really get the gravity of June 25th, 2009, you have to remember the sheer scale of his fame.
Absolutely. Born August 29, 1958. He wasn't just a singer, songwriter, dancer, producer, just an entertainment phenomenon, active from 64 right up to 2009.
And the numbers, they just speak for themselves, don't they? 13 Grammys, over 350 million records sold worldwide.
Wow.
Thriller is still the best-selling album ever, period.
And Bad, Dangerous, History,
Mhm.
huge albums.
Huge, but it wasn't only the sound, was it? It was the visuals, too.
Oh, completely.
Mm.
He redefined the music video. Thriller, Bad,
Mm.
Smooth Criminal, they were like short films, game changers.
And the dancing.
The Moonwalk, instantly iconic, everyone knew it.
Yeah.
Cemented his global legendary status.
But then, as we get closer to his final years, the story shifts. The case study mentions he became much more reclusive, especially after the trial in 2005.
Yeah, lived a quieter life for a bit.
Until 2009, and this massive announcement, the This Is It comeback tour.
Right, 50 shows, 50 sold-out shows in London. That's
That's a
the,
colossal undertaking for anyone, let alone someone who'd been out of that intense spotlight for a while.
and the case study really highlights the immense pressure he was under financially, apparently,
Yeah, there were reports of significant financial strain.
and physically too.
Yeah.
Decades of performing at that level.
Hmm.
The exhaustion must have been incredible.
And layered on top of all that were his documented health issues. We know about the insomnia, the vitiligo. The case study also brings up alleged autoimmune conditions. It doesn't specify exactly what, but, conditions where the body's immune system attacks itself could certainly add to the overall health burden.
Right, complicates things.
And then there were those persistent rumors, whispers, about depending on painkillers, supposedly stretching back to the 1990s.
It's like all these threads, the fame, the finances, the health, they all seem to be converging in that period leading up to June 2009.
Yeah.
The case study lays out that final day, June 25th, pretty starkly. Starts with him at his rented mansion in Holmby Hills. Dr. Conrad Murray is there, his personal physician.
Right, he was with him through the night and into the morning.
Then, 11:51 a.m.,
Mhm.
that's when the 911 call goes out.
A call the whole world heard about eventually.
And just a few hours later, 2:26 p.m., he's pronounced dead at the UCLA Medical Center.
And the official cause of death listed in the report, acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication, administered by Dr. Murray.
Which brings Dr. Murray right to the center of it all.
Definitely.
Hired for what, $150,000 a month?
Yeah.
As Jackson's personal doctor for the tour prep.
Yeah, a huge sum. And the case study emphasizes his role in administering nightly doses of propofol.
Propofol. Now, that's the key thing here, isn't it? It's a powerful anesthetic.
Exactly. It's used in hospitals for surgery under very controlled conditions, constant monitoring, using it nightly in a home setting for insomnia. It's
Yeah.
just not standard medical practice. It's incredibly risky.
Way outside the norm.
Absolutely. And that led to the legal consequences. Murray was convicted in 2011 for involuntary manslaughter.
Right, served 2 years of a 4-year sentence, I think.
That's right. It really underscores the human element, the specific actions that led to the tragedy.
Yeah. And the autopsy findings back that up. The death was ruled a homicide.
Homicide, meaning death at the hands of another, but specifically here due to negligent medical care.
Crucially, the report found no illegal drugs, right? But high levels of sedatives and anesthetics, including that propofol.
Correct. And interestingly, the case study notes that while he was underweight, about 136 pounds at 5'9", the autopsy found him to be in otherwise fairly good health.
which just puts even more focus on the drugs administered, doesn't it?
It really does. But with someone as iconic, as enigmatic as Michael Jackson, the official story often isn't enough for everyone. It sparks questions, speculation.
And conspiracy theories. The case study dives into some of the big ones.
Oh yeah, this is where it gets wild for some people.
The most persistent one has to be that he faked his own death.
Definitely. The case study mentions sightings, people claiming they saw him in Canada, Brazil,
Oh,
even at impersonator conventions.
seriously.
Yeah. And there were theories, particularly early on, that the person seen in the ambulance wasn't even him. Maybe a dummy, a decoy.
Wow. Okay. What else?
Then you get into theories like, the Illuminati killed him.
Ah, that old chestnut.
Yeah, the idea being, some powerful secret group in the entertainment industry wanted him silenced. Maybe he knew too much or was getting too powerful outside their control. It taps into that broader distrust of shadowy organizations.
Okay. And what about the tour promoters? Aegis Live.
That's another big one. The theory, as the case study explains, is that Aegis pushed him too hard, beyond his physical capacity, all for profit.
Driven by the massive ticket sales.
Exactly. And people point to supposedly leaked emails that allegedly showed Aegis executives were worried about his health but pushed forward anyway.
Adds a layer of corporate pressure to the mix.
And one more the case study covers involves Sony and his music catalog.
Right. He owned half of Sony ATV, which was huge. Included the Beatles catalog, Eminem. Yeah. Massive value.
Massive.
Mm.
So the theory goes that Sony somehow benefited hugely from his death, gaining more control over this incredibly valuable asset. Some suspect they might have played a role to secure that control.
It's vital we stress, like the case study does, these are conspiracy theories. There's no credible evidence presented for them.
Absolutely. But they show how hard it is for some people to accept a somewhat tragically mundane explanation medical error for the loss of such an extraordinary figure.
Yeah, the scale of his life seems to demand a more complex explanation for his death in some minds.
And his story didn't just stop there, did it? His posthumous impact has been incredible, especially financially.
Incredible is the word. The case study points out he's topped the list of highest-earning deceased celebrities multiple times.
Including that one year, 2016, he earned something like $825 million.
Yeah, mainly from selling his half of that Sony ATV catalog.
Just shows the enduring power of his brand and his music.
And the total figure since 2009, the case study estimates over $2.5 billion. Just staggering.
But the legacy isn't just about money, is it? It's also incredibly complex, especially after the Leaving Neverland documentary came out in 2019.
Ah, yes. That definitely reignited the debates around the sexual abuse allegations. Very polarizing.
Extremely. The case study notes the estate's strong denials, the lawsuits against HBO.
Which are still ongoing in some form, I believe.
Right. And meanwhile, his fan base remains fiercely loyal and defensive of his legacy. It's a really divided issue.
No easy answers there.
None at all. But despite all the controversies, his impact on culture is just undeniable.
Yeah, the case study really hammers that home. Redefining music videos, influencing genres from pop to hip-hop to K-pop.
Think of the artists who cite him as a major influence. Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, The Weeknd, BTS, the list goes on and on.
He's this really complex figure, isn't he, as the study says? Genius entertainer, accused predator, misunderstood eccentric, all these things seem to exist at once.
So when the case study synthesizes all this, pulls it all together, what's the bottom line on his death?
Well, the conclusion is pretty direct. It was fatal sedation resulting from medical malpractice by Dr. Conrad Murray. That's the direct cause. But the analysis suggests a broader moral responsibility might lie with others too. Maybe Aegis laid for the pressure, maybe Sony, maybe even his own inner circle for not intervening effectively. It points to systemic issues.
It really highlights those contributing factors, the financial strain, the health struggles, the relentless public scrutiny.
Exactly. They all created this an environment, this perfect storm almost.
And that helps explain why the conspiracy theories persist, doesn't it?
Yeah, the case study suggests it's a mix of things. Genuine unanswered questions, the sort of mythic status he built around himself, his natural secrecy, and just the sheer unlikeliness, for some, that such a huge figure could die from. Well, a doctor's mistake.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the facts we have point strongly towards a tragic death caused by medical error. But an error that happened in this incredibly complex web of pressure, health issues, and maybe exploitation.
It leaves a really profound question for you, the listener, to think about based on this case study's assessment. Was Michael Jackson primarily a victim of a toxic celebrity culture?